cars also just like have busted headlights. Like my Weevil just sometimes like the headlights just don't work. It's just a thing that happens.
Oh, my Izzy Rally doesn't have any at all, so I just put one stripe of underglow, one neon in front of,
All right.
so I could see at night.
Yep. All right.
Hello, Nino.
How you doing? Oh, perfect. All right.
Umbrella?
Okay.
Sorry.
You don't mind if any of these people listen?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, I chased up your FOIAs. I asked Daisy what was going on about it. As far as I know, the primary person who was looking into it, Marshal Sparks, is currently on sabbatical as well.
Yeah.
And isn't in town.
Yeah.
So I was asking about where to take it from there. Originally, was going to go to Marshal Dark, who I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yep.
For him to look into it, but I talked with Marshal Barrett this morning, and he'll be the primary person dealing with your FOIA, as far as I'm aware at this moment.
All right. Thank God.
So hopefully he should be able to give you some stuff.
Yeah.
I know he works hard, he's pretty thorough, so hopefully not too long for you.
Yeah, he's not useless like 90% of your department.
Anyway, yeah, he should have those for you soon.
Absolutely.
I'll be helping him
You're
with
not
that.
one of those. You actually show up.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question, just
That'll be all.
out of curiosity.
Sure.
How does it feel with your boss being completely vacant and refusing to give a citizen of the state the information that is their constitutional right to be able to defend themselves? At what point does a department stop becoming, by definition, law enforcement and something else? I don't expect you to answer that, but I want you to consider it. I know we don't know each other much, but at the end of the day, the city is made up of its people. And a law enforcement officer's job goes well beyond throwing someone behind bars or seeing what they're up to. Because if people's rights aren't, valued, then what the fuck is law anyways? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, law is there to serve the people, that's about it. No. If it's not doing its job, then it doesn't. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer the somewhat loaded question, but me personally, I'll continue to do my job until I'm either no longer a marshal, well, until I'm no longer a marshal, basically.
Yeah.
However that should end. So
Hell yeah.
if you ever need any help, please feel free to reach out. My number is
Absolutely.
normally anonymous.
Same goes to you.
A voice.
Like whether it's law shit that needs to be changed, things that are confusing, whatever, where hey, I appreciate you following up. And
It's my job, so hopefully Marshal Barrett does get some stuff to you.
yep.
Either way, I'll be on sabbatical in a few days anyway as well, so
Hey,
have a wonderful Christmas besides that, if I don't see you before then.
you as well. All right. I
Was it-
appreciate it. What was your name one more
worries.
time?
Alfie Clay,
Alfie Clay. Pleasure to meet you.
pleasure. All right, I'll leave you guys to it.
All right.
Reach out if you need anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fucking Marshall that is doing his job. It's good to see.
Well, statistically, there's bound to be one of them, right?
It's like a fucking unicorn.
Yeah. Him and Craig have been pretty active. The rest, God fucking knows. I mean, Doc as well, to be honest, even though guys like fucking, I don't know what the fucking schizophrenic or some shit.
Barrett's good shit.
What do you mean he's schizophrenic?
He thinks it's like I spoke to him once to tell him about how like the Hydra shit was getting leaked out, and he immediately wanted to turn it into an interrogation against me and refused to believe that anyone in his organization could do any wrong, because everything pointed at 2 points. One was a leak from shift 3, and 2, misconduct, and felony obstruction of justice from the marshals, and he just couldn't comprehend it, like as if, you know, he was like the badge makes him like the prince of like some king. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, he has
yeah.
a very black and white worldview of good and bad, and the law is good and others are bad.
Exactly that.
That tracks.
It's unfortunate none of that ever really got resolved, but there's never really been like an avenue for it, which was specifically like anyways. Well, pass is a pass. But hey, new chapter. It's good to see Radic having taken the helm now.
Yeah, he handled that little speech he gave with a lot of grace.
Yeah.
How did the officers from the BCSO react during the meeting when he gave his speech? Was there any sort of reaction from them?
It was a very like not very upbeat meeting in general today. I think there wasn't really much of a reaction, to be honest, at least what I heard. But he was put in place yesterday morning, right? And I think there was a lot of like one-on-one meetings. So whatever reactions probably already got, you know, put out there yesterday. So
Is Bones quitting? Like,
Sounded like a fucking eulogy.
yeah, it sounded like he was done and he wasn't in uniform when he showed up.
yeah, that's exactly what it fucking seemed like.
Like,
Wouldn't
to go through
surpri-
his whole career, like from years and years ago, like it just.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Fuck him. I hope he does retire. My only knowledge of this guy is he held back everyone other than the BCSO from being successful, and that's not success. It just is not. I am not. I don't think I can. It's going to be very hard for me to ever look past him and Cassidy looking at Daisy and Peters and saying, well, you don't matter because you're going to be gone anyways. Like that's some shit. Like that's some shit right there. Like, to be honest, unprovoked. You know what I mean? So fuck him. In fact, I hope he joins the Saints and the LSPD blast him down.
The leader doesn't speak that way.
Yeah. Yep. You know what's crazy though is his removal was his own undoing. The thing that made me run a second term was the comments he and Cassidy made to Peters and Daisy the week before, about 2 weeks before my term ended. And to be honest, I don't know. Anyways, we got a lot on our plate. A lot. I want to start with the market being the center point. We got about 6 weeks. That's not a lot of runway. And not only to get things developed, but also getting the getting it like running. You know what I mean? Getting it to a spot where it can self-function. So I think most of my mind, like I'm going to be investing a lot of time in that space in terms of developing it up. But I want to kick off by Michael. Can you give us an update as to where things are with that?
Yeah, of course. So we had a couple hiccups with the website. Nino, it looks like those are resolved.
Yep.
So everything should be in place on the digital side at latest, I would say, by midday tomorrow. On the actual infrastructure side, the mall itself, I spoke to Natalia this morning, and I said she was apprehensive about getting started, and I said, I think you need to get in there and start getting booth designs made, start visualizing floor plans. So we're very much underway on all fronts.
Hell yeah.
Okay, beautiful. A couple things I want to like sort of get reaffirmation for, because it's easy for us to get misaligned and shit. The page should not be, I think it should be its own sort of thing. Very, very plain and simple. Like, I would even say, like, have a black background sort of vibe. You know what I mean? If needed. I mean, I'll leave the creativity actually to you. But less WordPressy and more like its own thing. You know what I mean? Less like fuck. I can give you like honestly right now, actually now that I think about it, a very basic layout, the better.
Okay.
And the next, you mentioned the map. Okay, can you break down like what like bullet points you're working on in it, so I can kind of like analyze what's being worked on in case, so you don't go down a path that I think might be unnecessary at the moment.
Just be a floor plan. What's on each floor?
I don't think we need the floor plan yet.
At all?
No, because not yet, because we don't even know what the floor plan is going to look like. So let me sort of like repaint the vision here, because it's possible that I may have like cooked and then not gave everybody an update as to where my current mind is.
Okay.
The market page, we should get up and going ASAP. And as such, I think the market page should strictly show two things. The first thing that it should be focusing on is our ability. So right now, okay, so phase 1 is I spoke to Nalioma yesterday, or Natalioma yesterday. When you walk in, we're probably gonna see a handful of construction equipment and a very makeshift like front desk, maybe even a very makeshift little office with like junk, whatever's lying around, right? And what is going to happen is the entirety of the city should be able to go to the website, and using that, using the website, they should be able to see everything that we need in order to go into phase 2, all the pieces. So it might say we need 10 fucking floorboards, we need 5 like super long floors, 3 walls, whatever it is. And the citizens should be able to see how much the cost of it is, right? And we might even sell so what it is all the things that we need to have Natalia build up to the next stage. They'll see that. So that way the citizenry, so what it is like, it's the same concept as that you've got up there, but it's sort of like what we need, like what our purchases, like what, like, I'll say, we need 500 wood, we need da.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. And.
Well, Natalia can basically do that. She always will send you the bill and everything that she buys. So we can utilize the receipt, the receipt, to show people what is going on.
That's the easy part.
Well,
that's the easy part, yeah.
To be clear here, though, we don't want Natalia buying up the stuff herself.
Yeah.
So we can go down the route of so we could just go to the lumber union and have them buy everything, right? But the idea here is lumber union is going to be our backup. Instead, we want people to actually get paid to get us what we need, so that they feel like they're a part of the construction process. Does that kind of make sense? So, for example, let's say someone comes through and sells us like 5 chairs and like 2 floorboards. That Natalia might then end up using that to build up the next segment. You know what I mean? So the website as we update this inventory, and I think there should be 2 inventories. The inventory like that is being used for construction, right? And it should be clear that these are the things we need right now to develop up phase 2. And how much are we paying for each of those things? So when someone goes to the market, we're already creating an atmosphere where people know that they can come here for work. They go there like, oh shit, they need wood. Oh shit, they need this material. And some of it may not make sense to the regular construction person. Like, you know, we might be looking for some scrap. We might be looking for this and that. But what it's doing is we're making people meeting at the memorial. Come.
Okay, I'm right across the street.
Yep.
Bye.
Is this kind of making sense where I'm going with it?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the same sort of concept, like this thing that you're developing up, can be used for the normal marketplace website because it's the same
inventory. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so is
I
that
might just do a table then, honestly, for what we need and how much we have and what we're paying. It's a lot of information, and I think a table is probably the easiest way to display it. It's very basic. It's very black and white. You know what I mean?
I think what you got going here is, what do you mean by table? Like
a table, like a spreadsheet, like columns and
like
rows. You know what I mean?
visually?
Columns. Yeah.
I
If
think
you want it to be basic.
No. Sorry. When I say basic, let me sort of highlight what I mean by basic. Is it shouldn't have the normal Los Santos ME template.
Oh.
Yeah.
Style. I got you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't.
That's easy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad you're asking these questions because I don't know the the lingo.
No, really?
Dark mode, anyone?
Wait.
Put it in dark mode?
Wait.
Just got a plug-in to do that.
It's so bright.
What's your problem?
Nicole, thank you for the 20 months. So,
I do my best work at night.
I want to give you a. Give me a second. 1 sec. Let me see if I can give you kind of like a idea of the visualization.
Yeah, that works.
Escape from Tarkov event website. Have you ever played Escape from Tarkov?
Yes.
You know when they have the events
Yeah.
and you can go to their website and it's very, display is very simple. It's got like a background, right? Very light. And then it's just, you've got some, plain like in that sense, right? So, but then visually you've got the iconography, right, of the different things we need.
Yeah.
And so you see them sort of like in that PoE style that I showed you, where there's kind of like these squares, rounded squares that have a percentage, a label for what it is, the buy cost, and the buy cost, like how much we're paying cost.
Yeah.
And I would say, and then so as it updates, you'll see, hey, either in a percentage view or a out of X, Y, and Z view. I think percentage is probably a little bit, actually I think for this layout, for the construction needs layout, it should probably be numerical numbers. We need 2 out of 100, whatever. So, because that'll be easier for people if they go and buy 200 wood and they're like, okay, let me just sell this. You know what I mean? So they know when the completion is. And then I think the other table we'll talk about later, or the other layout we'll talk about later. The other market will
Commerce
look.
layout. Yeah.
Yeah, because the commerce one I think would be exactly the same, except that one will be more in percentages.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a transferable idea. And at the very top, very similar to today when you look at the legislation tab and you click the filter, I'm not saying it should necessarily be a filter, but that visual transition that's taking place is a similar one where the entire site is effectively loaded, off the get.
Yeah.
So,
so that second view then, that commerce inventory, is that going to come after the fact, like after the doors open?
I think right now we need to mostly have a site that focuses on what we need for the construction bit.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing is it's doing a couple things. Number one is that it's going to get people used to going to the market and getting work, because we're giving them work, which is we need these things to start up the market, right?
Yeah.
And so
we're training them.
We're training them, exactly.
You're literally positively reinforcing by them bringing
sure.
stuff and then getting paid.
Yes, exactly that. And every time they go down there, they'll noticing that their contribution is going to result in the construction moving forward a little bit. So they may come in the next day and Natalie or whatever, all of a sudden there might be a couple walls up, right?
Yeah.
The next day there might be a couple lights up. You know what I mean? Now,
gotcha.
Once that is kicking, and then we can move on to the commerce section, because we may end up having just a makeshift, like, crappily looking front desk and storage, and we buy and sell, but it looks hella bare bones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so the final product we may not see for like 2-3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, and that's going to be very intentional. So, I know some of this sounds very elaborate, but the idea here is to make, man, I don't know how to describe this. It's going to seem a lot more immersive than what usually is. You walk in one day and everything's just fully made and whatever, you know what I mean? So
it's more interactive almost. They're going to feel like they are a part of what is happening.
Exactly, precisely.
I love the idea. I think it's fantastic.
Right.
We're effectively giving them a progress bar to watch.
Wait, could you speak up, Maeve?
Sorry. I said we're effectively giving them a progress bar to watch.
Yes. Oh, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Which is going to keep them invested.
Yep. And I think the other kind of value of going down this route is we have an idea as to what the market is, right? And we've spoken about it, and it sounds sick, but we're in our old bubble, right? We cannot know how the public is going to react until we go to market. And instead of investing all the time, money, etc., all the, all Natalie's time, by making it incrementally, it allows us to adjust. That we can hire 2 or 3 people to run the market, 24/7 with like 1 or 2 people and like maybe one mall guy that's around for a little bit, and start it up and only hire what's needed to keep it lively. But then as sort of time goes, we can use, so in other words, we can build up that staffing very slowly too. Because imagine we go in there and there's just 2 people that run the market. You know what I mean? And like 1 mall guy, right? And that gives them time to also not only watch the progress take place around them, but also allow them enough time to bring in the right people. Otherwise, what will happen, as does normally happen in San Andreas, is the market will otherwise end up as not a part of the culture, but a 2-week event where people buy and sell shit and then get bored and fuck off, right? Yeah. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your feedback.
I mean, personally, I think everything you're saying makes sense. I think my only concern that I have so far is like, so let's say that I'm bringing 10 walls or whatever to help with construction. Like the box that people are putting those in or whatever the drop off point is, like, is that secure? Because like, if we have, you know, people bringing a bunch of supplies and then like, I don't want to just make another heist, you know?
That is going to be part of the bare bones that's getting put up is going to be just a little storage room. And yeah, you need keys anyways. Oh, are you saying like, are people going to get held up and shit?
Well, I mean, I guess that's a concern too. But like, no, it's more talking like if I put 10 walls in a box, like, and then, you know, Michael, the nefarious criminal, comes up afterwards, can he just take all the supplies from the box, you know? Or is it like, do we have it like, you know, where we submit that it's locked and not accessible by other people?
I mean, you should need keys
Yeah.
for anything of storage. It should be locked.
Yeah.
But if it's locked where you need keys, can I even put the walls in the first place?
No, but you can give them to me and I could put them in there. For
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
So we have to have people there the whole time for people to
Oh,
drop
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
stage 1, we will have, we're going to hire just enough to be picking it up. Yeah, we're going to be doing that simultaneously. So there's going to be the website, like each, and that's why I want to sit down and kind of like write this down, because I know I'm kind of explaining it almost like in an attempt to do it visually, but yeah, it's going to be us that's going to have to run the place to begin.
Sure, okay.
And as we hire on people to actually run it, you know what I mean?
Makes
And
sense, yeah. No, I think I just misunderstood that part. That makes a lot more sense.
yeah, yep. So it's going to be the very beginning stages of hiring not only just security but also our staff, but also giving us leg room that we can really vet people out. I mean, hell, maybe we run it ourselves, hire a couple people, and then the ones that show the bubble to the top end up being the ones that become our managers. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's why I also say this is gonna take a lot of our effort. We might need to move the meeting over there just in case. You know what I mean?
I'm just wondering, do we have anyone on staff that is usually around what is commonly considered AU hours? Or as I usually call it, shift 3? Which it's probably because I know
Sometimes I bleed into it a little bit for like the first hour.
not really.
I sometimes, not really. I maybe can be for some of it, but like,
no, you have more than enough on your plate, Maeve. Stop right there. I'm stopping.
I mean,
you.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm usually up at like 5 a.m. anyway, so like until 5 a.m. That's when I go to bed. So
I would say
I
like
theoretically could be around if I had to.
I think that is something that we probably are gonna need to. That is something that will probably be a part of our staffing. So, so like as we find some of those like holes, we can sort of patch them up. I think the other things that we should consider as we're phasing it up is it's going to allow us to also focus on how to deal with foot traffic. Like I actually think we should get repairs going there, you know. I think there's a lot of things that we should slowly sort of prop up and get people to operate from that location. And it's gonna, but it's all gonna start small, you know, with the website, the little thing, and then on a day-to-day basis. Say, how do we bring foot traffic today? Who can we bring down here to start operating today, right? And yeah, and so
I mean,
Yeah.
I can obviously do that, but I would rather have some other mechanic in the city do repairs.
I think
I don't
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
give
if
you an
that's because
alternative.
I don't think it would be a good look for me to be doing it. Like I'm making money out of something that the cabinet has done as a cabinet member. It doesn't feel right.
I disagree. I think that you should help get the other shops to come down, and I think well, in the sense that, let's say, like, for example, um well, I would say, imagine, for example, you might be starting there, but eventually a shop is, yeah, we got, I get what you're saying. I think it's gonna,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's given that this is run by the county and you're more like a director of the other mechanics, right? So maybe mechanic is probably not the best option, because a lot of the mechanic shops are generally um working up there anyways, so, or like working at their spots anyways, so that might not be one that we want to touch. uh but
Food might be an interesting one to put up there
yeah, but
as
um
like a starting place.
yep.
If we
Food will
can,
definitely bring people in.
yeah, people need food. The only real concern is that like they don't have kitchens up there, so they'd have to like bring stock up with them
Yep.
and maybe like facilitate some runs back and forth as
Yep.
they need more.
um I gotta multitask here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's revisit the market stuff. Like, once the site's done, we get a little bit more progress, and then that way we know what the kind of the next steps are. I want to open up, the other big thing is, Maeve, can you help us go through all the tasks on the table? And I'd like you
Yes.
guys to kind of like talk through it and see what our next steps need to be, where status is, and we'll try to prioritize everything else.
Sure. So I was chatting briefly with Nino yesterday. We've been so focused on the, everything with the DOJ and Pred getting removed from office and Mall and everything. We've had a lot of like little things that we've kind of added to the Trello and said like we'll work on this later, but we've just had so much big stuff that we haven't gotten to it. And it's starting to get a bit piled up. So we should probably go through and just decide like, is this still our focus? Can we can this? Do we want to actively work on this still? What's our progress on each of these, etc. Tony and Corolla, I know you don't have access to the Trello yet, so I'll try and go through these as best I can. Let me pull it up here quick.
Oh my god, there's a fucking shooting.
Okay. I guess the stuff with Pred is more or less done. We're just waiting for a civil trial, which isn't really our concern. Okay. So Michael, there are some tasks for the website. In addition to the stuff for the market, the contact page is out of date, and we were
I'd
talking
say,
about putting up the stuff for recent legislation and like the contest, like what we've been doing lately. Because I think our last update to like what we've been working on was in like October. Is that something you can tackle?
I would say website stuff, let's deprioritize that, so
Okay.
we can focus on the market, website related, so that Michael's not like over tasked on that.
The other things we have as far as things we were wanting to discuss, Nino, you said you wanted a impeachment light process or a potential county oversight committee to hold officers and county level officials accountable without requiring a full impeachment process. Is that still a priority for you?
Nope, deprioritized.
Okay. Do you want it canned completely or just not a priority?
No, lower priority.
Okay. We have one for. All it says is referendums. I think that was in relation to the stuff with the DOJ impeachment, etc. nonsense.
I'd say medium priority, revisit next week.
I think I drafted that already.
Oh, wait,
I think.
actually. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Let me go back and look, because I saw the notes from Serenade and I got an update on what that was all about, but I drafted it with secondhand information.
Oh,
so
there's unsaved changes on the card. There's a document that's linked in it that wasn't. There it is.
Bro, that is crazy.
that's probably not mine.
Yeah. No, it's a document that Serenade put in. With the talking points for that.
Yeah.
Okay, I almost got all this shit working. My bitch.
Michael, quick question. Did Rainer send in his application for his business license?
Let me look.
I don't want that guy to get away.
No. Nothing new.
Okay. Next on the list is the Nino. You asked me to take a look at the stuff for weed with having more mobile sales. We also had a thing for weed about updating the legislation for guidelines for transferring licenses.
Run it back.
You asked me to look yesterday into the stuff for like mobile weed sales with like taco trucks and things. We also have another one for updating weed legislation for guidelines for transferring licenses.
That should be like high priority. So the TLDR on that one is well, there's kind of two realities that are kind of mixing right now. And so what has effectively happened is we gave out these licenses, and these licenses are people want to sell it at the stalls, they want to sell it mobily, etc., and their desires are just illegal right now technically. And I think they're good ideas. I wish, for the love of God, they had actually like contacted us like in advance of all this, to be honest. But they haven't. So you know, it's better that we just update the legislation on their behalf, get it posted, and so then we can kind of like move on, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say, yeah, we definitely got, so the update is, number one, we want to allow them to, number one, we need something about them officially transferring. We need something in writing about what the process is for transferring a license. The second is how, selling their shit in a stall. The third is, selling through a vehicle.
Yes, okay. I have those already.
Yeah, it's all busted.
Okay.
Oh shit.
I can take a look at that today.
Sorry, I'm thinking out loud simultaneously. Ignore that last sentence. I was responding to a tweet with my voice text.
Okay.
Yeah.
After weed, we have a review of expungement legislation. During Cred's trial, it was revealed that expungement legislation is not fully fleshed out and only really covers how to obtain one, according to Justice Hollow. We should look at this in more depth and see if we can create a more fully realized version.
Okay, I like it.
Do we still want that as like a relatively high priority? Do you want to move down the list?
I'd like you guys to. I want you guys, Tony, Michael, oh my God, I'm blanking because I'm like clearly haven't slept much.
Corolla?
Corolla, sorry. I want you guys to chime in on this. But then I'm not here for just like 5 minutes.
The expunger and stuff. I mean, the thing that I took away from
Could you speak up,
Hollow's-
Michael? Or sorry, Tony.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Sorry, am I good now?
Yeah,
you're
good.
Okay, good. So the thing I took away from Hollow's thing at that specific time was that
All right, there
the
we go.
expungers, all it really did.
I'm trying to get
in
this like
his eyes
website thing
was
working, but it just
it
is
removed the charges,
refusing to do
but
it.
it didn't do anything as far as protecting the person having those old records, like reports, being used against them. I think it's because with the ambiguity, he decided that sure you can't use the charges against them, but the report is still valid. I think there's no sort of not ceiling, but more so of the expectation of not using old records being used against you from charges that were already expunged.
Mm-hmm.
My gut feeling remembering that case was that even though your charges were expunged, the facts from that from those expunged charges can be still used against you, which I feel like there's an issue with that.
Yeah, I agree.
So for him, his definition is kind of like a half-ass expungement where the charges are gone, but anything related to it isn't. The material that were used for those charges, nothing happens to them. And they could call it limitations in the MDT or whatever, but I think there should be some sort of expectation to at least seek approval to use those bits and pieces of information. But
Yeah, I think like because like for instance, it would make sense. I think permission is maybe a good middle ground because, like, let's say someone's I don't know a fucking serial killer, right? And then they like murder like a dozen people and then get an expungement, and they're like, I'm good now. And then like 4 months later, they murder somebody. It's probably worth looking at like expunged records in those cases, but like requiring a permission for like an extenuating circumstance is entirely different than what happened in
Repeat.
Pen's case.
Like repeat offender.
yeah,
There's one thing that
Wasn't
I'm incredibly
heinous
curious about.
Stuff, something that Daisy was working on.
Because I'm going to be real, I have not read it. Is expungement a right, or is that something that a judge can say, "I'm not going to do this for you"? What is it? What is in the definition? What is in the legislation
I
about
think
it?
the only burden is monetary.
yeah, monetary and the length of time you've been free.
Yeah, there is no discretion. It is very much black and white.
Okay, because I was incredibly confused.
Wait, really?
when-
Some people have it and other
well, that
people
is
don't?
Expungement. Do the same rules apply to the expungement light, as I like to call it, the first felon program? Does this work the same way?
The diversion program is
Diversion program.
There is discretionary with that with the judge, but there's no consistent measuring stick. It really depends who you talk to. Angel has given my a previous client of mine expunge program. for
Tony,
2
whispering again?
I would say it's the diversion programs are discretionary, but there's no consistent measuring stick for them. People say non-violent, but then you would have Hollow who would give Pred the runaround for a couple things. But then on the other end, I've had people who have 2 times negligent ownership of a firearm diverged since it was their first offense. It's completely discretionary to the judge, and it's very timing specific because it's always at sentencing, or most people say it's at sentencing, or they do it before a bench trial.
Hmm. I mean, I agree then with what was said before. If it is a reoccurring law break, it can be permission can be granted, but besides that, it really should not be used. Anything that has been expunged against the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to like leave that up to DOJ interpretation too, because like I don't want someone who's like, I don't know, maybe stolen a car twice to suddenly have all their expunged records examined because they stole a car again. But I think it's something different, right? If someone like who is known for chopping cars for like 6 months' time and has a fuck ton of charges, then chops a car after getting expunged, like that's
Mm.
so like leaving it up to DOJ discretion. I think in that case, and whether or not those
Yeah,
records
the
can be sought
whispers.
is fair.
Yeah. I
Well, I mean,
think.
we can discuss like the specifics of it more later. Just we need to decide if
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah. So right
something we're
now,
focusing on.
exactly what Maeve said. We got to think about like, is this something that we need to work on right now? That's kind of the exercise. I think maybe one good way to do this might be to like, what are the big sections? Like, what is the theme of what we need to work on? And I think what we like, what pieces of legislation, like of the tasks, can you enumerate through them, and then like, which ones do we got to tackle? Is I think what we should ask, and maybe only keep 2 legislative things up at sort of the top.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much on here right now.
Wait, really? There's that much?
Yeah. I mean, you have access to the Trello, but I mean, there's a couple full columns like in different stages of process.
Yeah.
Like,
I think what happened was we had so much bullshit happening that we had to deal with that like
exactly.
it just stacked up.
Yeah, which is totally understandable. Like we had other bigger
Oh
fish
my
to fry.
God, fuck.
But now we've got all this backup of us
All
being
right,
like, oh, we have this idea.
let me
let's
take a
make
look
note
at
of it
this.
so we can circle back to it, and then we haven't had time to circle back to it, and now we've got this
Yeah.
big backlog. And like some of these are things that are no longer relevant anymore, probably, or like the issue that they stemmed from has been more or less resolved. Some of these are things you maybe should tackle, but like we might not have the time to with other priorities. We just need to go through and get this cleaned up.
I guess in that vein, I would suggest to put the expunge stuff on a lower priority, because just the frequency, it's a big thing, but the frequency of it happening the way it happened to Pred doesn't happen often from my experience. So
Yeah,
I think,
but it's always like one thing after another.
yeah.
Tony, there's always been a stalling thing. Like, as a example, we're still waiting for audits, and we're still waiting for the process document moving forward. So we're kind of like, it's kind of like what do you call it? I don't know. Well, it is what it is, I guess. How about this? I think
So
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm putting things in order in the columns for like
Yep.
what their priority is. So if it's towards the top, it's gonna be higher priority. Towards the bottom, it's gonna be lower priority. I am marking them with due dates to check in on them again to see if we have more time freed up.
Okay.
And when those due dates happen, then we can check in, see is this something we want to handle? Do we want to continue to push this back and go from there?
That is a great idea. Oh my God, chat. When we look at this, it's actually crazy. I think that's why I'm like really excited with this market stuff, because like,
Okay, next on the list, Nino
Sure.
and Michael, you two wanted to work on subpoenas versus search warrants. Another thing that came up during Pred's trial was the topic of invasiveness and the function of each of these documents, and you wanted to explore legislative options for more clearly defining these and their usage. I'm assuming that can go down with the rest of them as far as priority.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think we should skip this entire conversation, to be honest. The more I'm thinking about it, because here's where I'm at with it. I think there's a lot on our plate, but the reality is the market stuff is way at the top. And so instead, for the time being, I think we should have one person take up the weed stuff, right? Which I think you were already working on, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then Tony pick up a task on this, and have Corolla pick up a task on this. And that way we're not saying, hey, here are all the things that need to get done, but rather have something like everybody just take a piece and go from there. You know what I mean?
I think the only other one that I'd like to check in with you more urgently on, I mean, I can go through
Yep.
this and kind of just guess for priorities, but
Mhm.
the food stall, do we still want that to remain a high priority?
Nah. Let's kick the can on that one for now.
Okay. Can it completely
Yeah.
or just move it
I
down the
mean,
list?
I'd say if anybody comes across someone who's selling it, then we approach it. Cause like, yeah. I mean, we can keep that up.
Oh,
It's
did we
just,
not get the Frank's one? I thought we were looking at buying that. Did that fall
oh
through?
no, they haven't gotten back. I don't think they're gonna sell that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't do all 20 things. You know what I mean? So it's better to like prioritize it.
Yeah, I think we're mostly okay. I can figure out the rest of this. Just double
Yeah.
checking that I'm not missing anything before
Yeah.
I lose you here.
No, you're good. I think that's going to be a lot more productive if well, let me ask you this. Let's do this. Tony, what is it? You have access to the Trello, right?
No.
Okay.
No,
We're
we
at our
still
limit.
don't.
Tony,
We
Corolla,
still
and
don't
Junior
have
don't
it.
have
Oh.
access because we're at limit.
Okay. Who is there anyone on here that doesn't need to be on here?
Current members are you, Michael, me, Abilene, Serenade, and Archie.
Okay. So what I am thinking is that let me see if I can upgrade this. Let me see. All right. I'm gonna try to upgrade this this evening. But in the interim, in general, let's say like open topic, because it doesn't need to be something that's on this list. But in general, Tony, what is it that you want to focus on? Like pet project or whatever it might be, or something that you know that we might be working on that you want to dig your hands into.
I'm not entirely familiar with everything, but I mean, the expunge one seems pretty a low hanging fruit for me to take up right now.
Okay. Okay.
Just
All
to
right.
add the amendment pieces for the records, I feel like wouldn't be too difficult for me to pick up off the.
Let me see. Where's the Trello page? Okay. Where is? Okay. Let me.
As far as the other stuff, if there's any, I'm not entirely familiar with the process. So I'm not sure what what's too big for me to shoot.
I got you. Actually, we need to read the document that there's some where there's a document that the DOJ wrote up, right? That needs review. I would run through that and put your thoughts on it.
Okay.
And then take up that other one as well, and then we can re-up on that. You know what we need in here, Maeve? We need something that shows like what everyone's kind of working on. Like, so I like this setup.
Currently, what we've been doing is just if someone has like claimed it, we'll assign the user to the card and then like put their name at the front of the title. So like you'll see like the towing one, for instance, has my name at the front, etc. So
Yeah. I think what we should do is, can you gun through the in progress ones, and if they're not in progress, we either stall it or push it back on the left.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. Stand up. God damn it! I'm trying to get this thing going.
What's the status with the whole impeaching thing? I suppose that's a big one. I should probably ask you about. Like, are we still impeaching Hart? Any of the others? Like, is that still an in progress thing? Or are we putting on the back burner for now?
Let me ask you guys. I think we're gonna have to make a choice here. here's what I'm weighing in my head is it worth the effort? Because that effort is going to be a lot of effort. And I'm sort of assessing, do we care more about the impeachment or moving things forward? And that's always been like the big question. Do I think
I was about to say
Hart should be impeached? I think 100%. However, do we have the resources for it?
Yeah, you've done that like what, the past 5
Not
years?
without reprioritizing.
Okay, excellent. Yes,
Yep.
because we were
And that's
checking
exactly, yeah.
on
And that's my concern.
since we're in cabinet
Because
meeting.
I think we all want to. It's just like, it's going to take away our time from all the other shit we need to work on. Getting legislation in the next 6 weeks. Getting, you know, the market stuff up and going. I foresee all that impeachment stuff just taking up just so much fucking time.
Which I think
Yeah.
you probably yeah, you answered it on the application, but I just want
Do we not already have the document more or less drafted?
Where would you be working?
It is, but the documents, like, that's the beginning.
Then we have to go
And-
through the whole like hearing and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll
and
pretty much need the body to go through all of that.
And there's no guarantee that it's going to result in any meaningful outcome. It could just be, you know, a slap on the wrist and try better next time.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
I don't know that it's worth, you know, pushing the market to the wayside.
Yeah, as much as I think it's deserved, I think it's about weighing what has the most impact and benefit to the
Exactly.
people.
Yeah, we were
And
having one or
I'll say
two
this. I think
issues
that
with the
with
website,
new
so
blood
that's
coming
why I'm
into the
going to
justice roster,
double-check with that,
I
okay?
am
And I will
going
call
to
you
give
back
the new
hopefully in the
people a
next 10 minutes.
chance to kind of do better,
Thank you.
I guess. Because right now, you know, Hart could potentially be overruled by all the new justices coming in. So let's, at least for me, I want to see them try. I want to see them show us that they can do better. And if they don't, you know, let's get the market up, and then we could drop those articles of impeachment at a later date. But I just look at what should be done, what's going to have a bigger impact on the people, and I think the market will.
here's a question. What if we focus on the market? And because like, you know, do you have to be mayor to like submit articles of impeachment?
No, anyone can.
So, I mean, we could just, you know, focus on the market, focus on the good things, and we could whack it in at the end of term. And if you decide not to run again or whatever, like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if we're out of office by that point because, like, we've submitted it.
I agree with you. I think we could. I look at impeachment. Do we need her impeached? Let me ask that question. And the question is, this is a rhetorical question, kind of. Well, it's not really rhetorical, but it's more to like open up, like I'm asking more like Socratically. In other words, how necessary is it? Now, Tilly over here is probably gonna be like, of course, right?
Of course.
But
Hi,
at
Tilly.
the same time, it's just
Hola. Soy Tilly.
Mucho
I-
gusto, Tilly.
I think impeachment of Hot is something I really want to do. I just don't think we have the time for it. And by the time we do have the time for it, it's going to have no meaning behind it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where my mind is at. If I'm not mistaken, actually, let me roll it back. I think our decision was made that everything is going to be a living document. Is this fair? We wanted to keep everything a living document, and we wanted to focus on impeaching Hot. We now have the market keys came into our hands after the fact, right? After that whole conversation. And because of that, everything is getting reprioritized. We still have all the impeachment papers on all the judges and justices involved in the last little while, including Angel. In the event they start doing some dumb shit, then we can just literally, and it's becoming an impediment. It's getting in the way of us making progress. We pull it up, add the new shit, and slap it up on the docket, and that becomes high priority. But as of right now, we may not even have to worry about Hot for the next, like, God knows what. You know, she might be sleeping, you know what I'm saying? Like, she might be planning to leave anyways, right? The
Honestly, I
way
think
she was
Angel
talking.
was the biggest issue here. I feel like Hot's
Yes.
just kind of secondary. I don't. I feel like you'd put a lot of effort into that, and it wouldn't really be worth it in the end. Like my court case.
Yeah.
Tilly, I know you weren't present for the most recent meeting with the state official, but her like behavior and that was shocking, to say the least. Personally, I'm of the opinion that yes, she might not be a problem going forward, but her behavior up to this point has been an issue, and I don't think that like it should be something that she just, is able to do and get away with. I also don't think it's likely that it will stop. But I mean, time will tell on that. I'm more than willing to be proven wrong.
No, I don't think you're I don't think you're wrong, actually. I think if she continues to operate, she's going to continue to operate with a poor understanding of law and an execution of law for the benefit of not the people. You know what I mean?
I fully expect her to be Angel 2.0. I'm going to be honest. After her behavior at that meeting where she was basically already propping herself up as like some sort of chief justice and implying that everyone should be
Agreed.
grateful to her for their jobs, like it was very strange, and I'm concerned about the level of damage because yes, like as Michael said, the new justice is coming in, might be a breath of fresh air and whatever. I wonder if any of them will have the backbone to speak up to her because again, I am concerned that they knew the whole time they were going to promote Arcadia and didn't decide to do so and let her be at the table with them as an equal until she decided to fall in line. It's just a weird pattern. And yes, there are other
Yeah.
things we can do right now that have more of an impact to the citizens, like focusing on the mall. And I don't disagree that that should be our priority, but I don't think that it's fair to the citizens or to us or to anybody to just say, well, we have other more important things to deal with, so all the fuck shit you just did for the last who knows how long is fine and we forgive you.
But
Because
who's going to do it then?
What if we outsource
I
it
don't know. To me,
to
I
like
think that
agents?
I think that Angel was a huge cancer, and I think that now that she is removed, things will eventually settle and get better. But that's just my opinion. I think that I don't know. I don't see Hot being an Angel 2.0, but that's just me. Maybe
So
I didn't see
she
her
has
behavior either.
she has the
what happened,
barking
so.
the bark of an angel 2.0, but I don't know if she bites like
she's not
angels
wrong,
or-
but
I
who's
don't
going to
think she
do
does. I
it?
think that Hot has a Hot.
I mean, I don't know. Hollow came in looking like a kicked puppy
Mike,
after their hallway
we need
conversation.
Michael's
Yeah,
our
but
guy
Hollow's,
in that.
That's bad.
brittle compared to like Arcadia and is great. The other Grayson confirmed as
No,
other
they
justice?
can't. It's like Michael said, posting
Sean Danielson.
the
and I both
document
think
is
it's
part
gonna be
1 of
Bryson
10.
McNee.
So
I would
I-
doubt that it would be the other Grayson, to be honest.
So I want to, yeah, you're 100% right. So who wants to take the document and take the next step? The problem is it can't be Michael. He's going to be really focused on the market. And that might be God knows how long. You know what I mean? It could be short. It could be long. And I think a big question is, does Michael have the energy? I know Michael's, that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want to burn his candle now. We need to manage Michael here because he's been fucking
Yes.
carrying a lot recently. So
feel like
Maybe
we're-
one of the lawyers?
feel
Tony,
like we
Abilene,
should-
Serenade?
Oh, I'm
or
a
in
lawyer now
conjunction
too.
of those? Oh, congratulations.
I feel like
Thank
it's
you.
your last like bit of the term, and I feel like we should focus on the city and not really necessarily that. Like this is Angel's gone, like move forward kind of thing. I feel like just
Agreed.
focusing on impeachment doesn't really look
Yeah.
good on us.
There's so much like, and that's kind of where my vibe is. Like, I really want to do it, but it would require someone that has been intimately involved with this entire thing, right? Because even like Tony is the next best thing for taking this forward, but even Tony is aware of only the pred side of things as of recent, right? And it's like, it's just a waste of energy, I think. Like, I genuinely believe that as of right now, when I think of the judges and justices that are in there, I think if Hart tries to do some dumb shit, I don't fully believe they're gonna back it.
Yeah.
And we can resolve this through conversation and politic, as opposed to a legislative angle, which once again, is so fucking slow. You know what I mean?
And
I
we
agree.
still have the paperwork and the option if she does something blatantly stupid
Yeah.
or wrong.
That's
let's
it.
say.
I would
We
say
have that. We have
ju-
that insurance sitting there in our
Yeah,
pocket.
which is why I'm saying like I don't care if we focus on this shit and then like whack it in towards the end of the term if we think it's still relevant and needed. Because
Yeah.
like, and to be quite honest, like I get what you're saying, about it like having an impact or being relevant at that point, but also like they wasted a whole bunch of our time. I don't mind wasting a bunch of theirs at this point.
I'm on that same energy, but it still comes back to who's gonna drive it.
Yeah, because I'll say this: like, for me to give the same effort and results like I did with the Pred case, to do the same with the hard impeachment would take everything out of me to pretty much focus on that and do none of the participate in any of the stuff on the table right now with the market or
Mhm.
any of the other
Yeah.
backlog.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Which at that point, heart's a big target, but not big enough to cost us all of that.
Well, I mean, how would you feel putting in all that effort? The impeachment goes through, she gets impeached, and the ruling is she gets a 3-day suspension.
Yep.
Yeah.
How would you
Yeah.
feel? You know what I mean? So I think you treat it as a living document. If they do fucked up shit, we keep a record of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And if push comes to shove, we shove. But for now, let's do something positive. Let's do something meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
There's another thing that we need to weigh, and this has been always something in the back of my mind, is even though we are doing what we know to be the best, the reality is that 95% of the city has no idea the shit's even happening, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as a consequence of that, we throw a stone, they have an entire month to complain about it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of headache that a lot of people had to go through from just, I look at the history, right? Last 4 months, anytime we do something, there's an issue. There's a lot of, let's just call it bullshit that stems out of it. And a lot of bullying, a lot of misrepresentation, or whether it's Daisy, whether it's Peters, whether it's people in the staff, whether it's anyone that even speaks to us, this, that, and the center, is that these motherfuckers, if they're fucked off, let them be fucked off, right? And instead embrace members of the judiciary, the police department, etc., who wants to help build the city up, and pretend the others don't exist. And that's probably, as much as I want to say it, the best route to take. And otherwise, it's just going to be fucking Sag farming from, more Sag farming bullshit. So, we got the win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, Maeve, with all that being said, I want you to keep that energy that you're putting here, because we need to hear shit like that.
Oh, I don't mind
Yeah.
if we disagree. And in fact, I think I'm mostly in agreement with you on like all these points. Like I also
Yeah.
want to do something positive. I think the Cart Center has like more of a impact overall on the citizenship than like impeachment does.
Yeah.
I just think it's something we should be like keeping in mind and considering. So I think we're all on the same page. I'm just like raising other points.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's
I will say that just in general, not necessarily for Hart, but if impeachment is such a, because I feel like the general thing that's been tossed at us throughout this whole bullshit with Pred and everything was like, well, if you don't like it, file an impeachment left, right, and center. We don't care. Everyone should be filing impeachments more often. It's not that big of a deal. They might not even get removed. Just do it. And like, if it's such a draining process on a team that's as hardworking and dedicated and capable as this one to
let Chad impeach.
prepare
They
these
want to do
documents
it.
and go through that whole process and
Yeah,
do
I can't-
everything just for them to only receive it like maybe a slap on the wrist, maybe like
That is
maybe
true.
impeachments as a process needs to be revisited as a whole because it's extremely prohibitive and doesn't really have any sort of outcome necessarily. And that's not to
Yep.
say that people who shouldn't be impeached should get impeached just because someone put in a lot of effort, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, impeachments have sort of turned, if I'm going to be honest, impeachments are a motion to compel. So it's a motion to compel because
What was that laugh?
it's just, I'm thinking it's funny to me. A motion to compel, right? It just to make sure everyone knows what that is like, hey, you're not doing this, we need you to do it. You're now ordered to do it. And That's what an impeachment is. It's just time that people. It's a warning that you have 4 weeks until your impeachment trial to get done something we're accusing you of not doing. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Or like changing the way you pace. Because the moment it goes on there, like even some of the stuff that we did, like we did the letter, they ended up resolving it. Is my point making sense? Motion to compel is a court order, right? An impeachment is a long drawn out court order. It needs to be something that is easier to do, right? And that's kind of why I wanted hearings to begin with, because a hearing literally spin it up. It's like a bench trial version of an impeachment that has similar value, but a million less steps. And I think that's a lot of that is just a byproduct of DOJ as a process is slow. Not to anyone's fault. It's always been that way. It's just all right.
I urgently need to go.
Yep.
Is there anything else for me before I head out?
No. It is. Nope. This is amazing. Keep cooking. Focus on the market stuff.
Yeah.
I am going to work on like a document that is gonna highlight some of what we talked about what the market's gonna be, what the steps are, so that everyone kind of has a unified idea of what it is, what it's gonna look like, etc. Because this is, we're kind of playing out how the market. That way, we're always on the same page because it's very complex of an idea on our end.
We are still having some back end issues. You'll see. I've documented and sent you some information.
Do you need other plugins installed or something like that?
Well, no, like our plugin we use to get business applications, it's missing now. But when I try to reinstall it, I still get, installation failed. I think the WordPress account, the Los Santos account, right, doesn't have the permission it needs. So I can't even do like updates. But shit's missing now. Shit's not working. So
okay, I feel like that's fuck. I think we need.
You just want to roll it back? Like, are there backups from like a week or two ago?
Yeah, we need to talk about this offline, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got an appointment in 25 minutes. So
Yeah. Do you think? You know what we might want to consider, Michael? If you know anybody that knows that shit, so we can, I can help. I could get them sorted so they could help facilitate some of this, because I can do it, but it's an extra juggle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a massively extra juggle. Might result in me accidentally deleting a bunch of files. Brother,
So,
yesterday
Michael,
I had
should
Bobby Charles yelling in my ear as I'm like fucking changing permissions on a terminal. Like I was like, holy fucking shit.
So,
What's up,
Michael,
Pearl? Before
should
I go,
I just tell? Yeah, should I just tell the applicant then to wait?
I'm gonna get a IT guy to
because
get
we're
it
having
sorted.
Send it to you
technical
by email.
issues?
No, tell him to send it to you
I'll
by
have him
email.
send it to you. Okay, perfect. And I'll send it to you.
Okay, sounds good. I should be back in about 4 hours.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
See you, Michael.
All right.
Ciao.
Hi, Michael.
Who the fuck says ciao? What does that mean?
What do you mean? He's been
Ciao.
saying ciao for God knows how long.
What does ciao mean?
That's goodbye in
Goodbye and
Italian.
hello
Oh,
in Italian.
Ciao.
All right. Okay. All right. Easy.
I'm gonna have to give this guy a call.
All right. Well, I think we can break here for now. I think there's a lot that needs to be done, but I'm also kind of picking up on. I think team also equally needs rest. But now, I think Maeve, you're working on the weed stuff. Tony knows what you
I'll get the
what
Trello
he's
sorted
doing.
out, too.
Corolla, I'd say I want you to think about like what area you kind of want to focus on in general, right? And let's take that approach as opposed to there's a million things that need to be done. Reality is we're not going to tackle them all. And you know,
the everything going on in the court center is really interesting to me. Let's be real, I do not have the legal knowledge to help with most of that. But being there and the sort of daily work that will be needed very soon is something I would be very interested in putting my time and efforts into.
Let's do it. I think that is a great idea. You know,
Basically, I'm perfectly willing to sit at a desk waiting for people to show up. And I
done.
think I have an idea of a mechanic that could work out of there.
Oh
as soon as
my
his
God,
application
let's
comes
go.
through.
Okay,
So yeah.
let's do it. I think that's a great idea. Actually, that is a perfect idea. I mean, you have a lot of
And
experience in that space, so let's put you in the market. And okay, all right. Is there anything we need to discuss? I am gonna review that Trello board. I need to catch up with my shit as well. I got to get Michael sorted with his site so that can get up and going.
Yeah.
Tilly?
Can I
I don't
Yeah,
have
Tony,
anything.
go ahead.
can I get a copy of the DOJ document you want me to review?
It's in the
one that they
email
sent to-
chain.
Yeah, I think it's the recent one in the legislation
Yep.
channel.
The stripped actor one before that.
I think it's the Strip Act, right, Nino?
Yes, that one.
Oh, okay. Cool. I should be settled then.
All right, easy. All right, easy. All right. I'm gonna
Okay. Just to let you know.
I am gonna be wrapping up my extracurricular activities soon, so I can start focusing my full attention back into things, which honestly I think this is good. We've had some re-energizing space. This last couple days have been fucking insane.
What the
A
fuck?
couple weeks. Well, what happened?
Larry Nax called me fat.
Oh shit. I didn't know you were still beefing with fucking Larry.
He just beat me up there over didn't you see the fucking sirens over there? He
Okay.
beat me
Perfect. I mean,
in 2 offices.
I wonder if you could actually
Jesus
send
Christ.
me that link
That's fucked up.
through my phone, but I
All right, I'm gonna go get some food. I'll
All
catch
right.
up with y'all later.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
Y'all
give it
take
a
care, yeah?
try,
Let
and
me know if you
not,
need
I
anything.
can send you my
Yeah, be
email
safe.
address.